attempted suicide. So I think it's important
Because of my line of questioning? So we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist
I'm
is
denying that
dangerous.
trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can get
So
pregnant.
you are denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you?
Absolutely.
Or are they also treated like this, where
No,
they're told that they're opening up people to violence?
We have a good time in my class. You should join.
Oh, I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot.
Hey, human family, how are you? It's Darren. Welcome to another episode of Fully Alive Again. I've got an excellent program for you guys today. And for those of you new to the channel, welcome to the channel. I am sorry that you've experienced narcissistic abuse too. My channel is dedicated to help you get out of your head and into your life by giving you new understandings, inspiration, motivation, to go up, over, around, or through narcissists and narcissistic abuse. On today's program, we're going to examine word salad in action, how people use words to confuse, manipulate, and control a target. So let's do what we do and dive deep. No tears, no fears, fully alive again after these years. Albert Einstein said, "Make everything as simple as possible." Nelson Mandela stated, "Be as simple as you can be, and you will be astonished to see how uncomplicated and happy your life can be." Mahatma Gandhi stated, "Live simple so others may simply live." Whew. Those are some powerful statements about simplicity. The reason I mentioned simplicity is because that's how communication should be. See, living is not that complicated. The world is fairly simple. We human beings have been here for a very, very long time. And most of the things that we need to understand when it comes to our existence and our lot in life are fairly black and white and really simple and uncomplicated. It is the human intellect that makes things complicated. It is word salad that makes things more complicated, and it's what I call intellectual clutter that makes things more complicated. Intellectual clutter is an overemphasis of information. It's breaking down things to a nuance to create information that really isn't needed or necessary. Narcissists have a cunning way of using intellectual clutter with what we've all known the phrase word salad. And through their communications, by throwing so much junk and information, be it $500 words, meaning, or be it new words and new hypotheses, whatever it is, to confuse so you can manipulate and therefore control and disempower the target. I think the professor here, I forgot her name, I don't have it in front of me, I apologize, but she's a law professor at Berkeley and quite an accomplished lady, but is a perfect example of word salad and manipulation to try to control a target to get things their way. Remember, a narcissist wants complete domination. They want you to act accordingly. They want you to affirm whatever they've got going on in that little head of theirs, that you get in line and fall in line with their altered reality. Their reality must be your reality. They demand this. So let's take a look and break down some of the word salad that's going on in this conversation with a senator and a professor from Berkeley.
Said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So in essence, what she could have said is that there are women who identify themselves as men and they can get pregnant. So we consider that to be a man who gets pregnant because they identify as a man. So in their altered reality, we must affirm this and say that a man can get pregnant. That's really the essence of what she was saying. And then to take the word salad and manipulation tactic even further, they've added a surname, for the lack of a better illustration, to what is a biological woman, calling them a cis woman. And they have created a category where she says there are cis women who can't get pregnant too, meaning there are biological women who identify as a woman that for whatever reasons they can't have children. That was what she was saying in a very arrogant, manipulating style and communication tactic. This is, in my opinion, a narcissist in action. I think a lot of activists, be it on the far right or far left, are narcissists. I think people misconstrue people from marginalized communities that are narcissists because we don't want to be disagreeable. We don't want to be painted as a bigot or as somebody that is mean to someone less fortunate. But that is the bully pulpit. The narcissists always, and you know this if you know anything about narcissists, always position themselves as victims. You see, you have to understand that there are different ways that you can bully. You can be the victim and even come across as being the weaker, the most vulnerable, and underneath it be vicious and bully through your victimhood and do it covertly. It's insidious. And I believe wholeheartedly this is going on at a level that is unprecedented when it comes to transgender issues. I am very aware of how difficult it must be to be trapped in the wrong body, to have the wrong brain in the wrong body. But that doesn't mean that we have to affirm and change the reality of human existence to make you feel comfortable in the world. Life is not fair. We all have to carry our own burdens and figure out our lots in life. We are all human and have human rights, even if you're not a sentient human being, meaning that human rights is human rights. This constant split and grouping and marginalizing people and segregating people by all these different identities is not healthy for a society. These people, every single one of them, every person in this nation should have the same rights. Their rights should be no different than mine, and my rights should be no different than them. And if there was somebody that was violating their rights, they should be able to go to the courts and handle their business just like everybody else. But after that, we cannot change society to make you feel good. I mean, isn't that what the narcissist is? Is that everybody's there to make their life perfect and to never upset them, to walk on eggshells, and to make their altered reality our reality. And that's just not the way that the world works.
This isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing that.
Wow, you're saying that.
You see, when you disagree with a narcissist, it instantly escalates into a felony, into something that victimizes them at a level that everything must stop and you must alter your conversation and change course and not get to the essence, to the root issue that you're trying to discuss. All of us have been in a relationship with a narcissist. So you are familiar with when you bring up a point that is relevant and that shows them crystal clear that they are in the wrong, or you challenge their philosophy. You even see narcissistic rage. This was a more refined narcissistic rage tactic. You are being violent. This is extraordinary. You see, I'm old school. Coming from my generation and seeing this stuff play it out, it is just fascinating, frightening, and horrific, all rolled up into one. It is truly amazing that people are saying words are violent, and to discuss and debate issues and topics is offensive and hurts me. Are you kidding me? But see, that gives power. People misconstrue that there's just a little weak little butterfly under there that just can't handle the conversation. No, I believe that's a conscious tactic to do a jujitsu flip, to put you on your back and put them in charge. That's what that is. Make no mistake about it. That is a bully tactic. Her projection on him is really what she's doing, and wanted to go on record that he hurt her feelings by challenging who she is. And I don't know who this guy is. This guy may be a complete asshole for all I know. I don't know. But I know the conversation that took place there, that's in real time, that's live on CNN, that she, in my opinion, was the one that was being the bully. But aesthetically, you see a man and a woman of color. So you instantly are more aware of what the male is doing. That's just the nature of our existence as a species, that we are protecting the weaker person, the weaker sex. But they bully and manipulate you through word salad and through diluting the conversation with things that just don't make sense. To go on record and say that he was advocating or being violent and not accepting the existence of transgender people was the personification of word salad, in my opinion.
I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
Because of
for
my
us-
line of questioning? So
Because-
we can't talk about it?
because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist
I'm
is
denying that trans
dangerous.
people exist by...
Do you see the victimology here? Positioning herself as a victim or protecting those who are victimized? You know how high the suicide rate is when it comes to those who have experienced narcissistic abuse. I believe the highest rate of suicide is Native Americans in the country. And again, I want to be empathetic and understand what these people are going through. I think all of us want to be polite and acknowledge their existence and their pain. But that doesn't mean that I affirm or agree with your altered reality. You want to be something that you're biologically not. That's okay. I'll play the game. I won't affirm it. I don't agree that you're a real woman or a real man, but I will be polite and act accordingly. I won't talk about you until you walk away. But sincerely, I get it. And I respect them. I had an interaction with a transgender woman, a man who transitioned into a woman. And it was a delightful encounter, and I learned a lot. And she was a lovely lady in every sense of the word. But I don't agree that she is a biological woman, that they're the same. It has nothing to do with me. It just has to do with reality. And to call that violence because you disagree or because you are questioning to learn or to affirm your own belief, and to call that violence is utterly ridiculous. And that's a manipulation tactic from a narcissist, throwing the word violence into a word salad to confuse, manipulate, and control.
Folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
Because of
for
my
us-
line of questioning? So
Because-
we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist
I'm
is
denying that trans
dangerous.
people exist by
Are
asking
you?
you if you're
Are
talking
you?
about women
Are you?
having pregnancies.
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can
So
get
you are
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist? Thank
And
you.
that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you? Or are
Absolutely.
they also treated like this, where
No,
they're
they're
told
allowed
that
to
they're
question me.
opening up people to
Oh,
violence
we have a good
by
time in my
questioning?
class. You should join.
Oh, I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot
I
just in this
know,
exchange.
absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Do you see the manipulation there in the word salad? That I'm going to shame you. I'm going to project an image on you to taint you, not only to yourself, but to other people. I'm going to accuse you of something that you didn't do. And I'm going to do it with a fluidity of words that are making absolutely no sense, but they sound really good and important. This is just amazing. And it plays out in everyday conversations with any type of narcissist. Be it a lover, a coworker, a parent, a sibling, a child, you name it, these type of conversations can be found. So what do? 1, you stand your ground. Don't be afraid to be disagreeable. If they shame you, know who you are. Just because someone says something doesn't make it true. You don't change what reality is to fit their logical fallacies. You don't do it. And you do it without being angry or upset. And you watch them do their little narcissist dance. But you certainly don't try to justify who you are to a narcissist ever. Stand your ground, speak your mind, and detach and move on. It's okay to disagree as human beings. A narcissist wants you quiet and to obey and to never show them how disillusioned or freaking cuckoo they really are. But that you are not responsible for their feelings, nor are they responsible for yours. And what are your thoughts on this? I could be wrong. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree. Enlighten me, illuminate the path if I'm wrong here. All right, you guys? I've got nothing but love for you. I deeply appreciate you guys stopping by. If you got some value out of today's show and enjoyed the journey, give me a like. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell. And what say you? Please share your comments and suggestions. And until next time, you guys, be good to one another. Love one another. And do the best you can. You will get through this shit. Remember, progress, not perfection. One step at a time. Keep pushing. Don't you dare give up on yourself. All right? I got nothing but love for you, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Until then, peace. Be well.
No tears, no fears. Fully alive again after 6 years.